we've had a lot of things to do on the game. There was some previews, so some people have already been spoiled on some things about the kit. If you want to know more about the more deep details about her development process and her themes and things like that, you can check out the Closer Look blog post.
Right.
But I'll cover a lot of that as we go through it here. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Hecate, goddess of sorcery, Greek goddess, and a intelligence user. Starting off Pawn just showing off her passive right off the bat. So like we went ahead and we were like, we want to think about ways to Smite 2ify this character.
Right.
From the very beginning. So some of her kit, was tested internally and close tested and previewed a little bit and then reworked. So actually we've had almost 3 abilities completely reworked.
Yeah.
The 1, the 3, and the 4 have almost entirely been completely reworked since the last time anyone saw her. The passive wasn't changed. So the passive uses the interact mechanic conditionally in a way that Smite 1 God couldn't do. So we have the interact system. So what Hecate can do is she can buff a structure on the map. She can have any one structure can be buffed, and it puts out an HP regen and mana regen aura in the area to allied gods. So you can use this any number of times on any number of structures, but only one can be active at once. So effectively, Pawn's just moving it around from structure to structure right now. This passive also has another component that is especially, this is some real eldritch magic stuff. And that is really what I think thematically, Hecate is something people wanted from her. This is also just a really, it's asking a player to do something very different and new in a passive in a way we never have before.
Right.
So Hecate's passive Mythic Ritual also lets her interact and perform a ritual with an allied god, but only if that allied god has killed an enemy god recently. And if you successfully interact with that god, you both get a strength and intelligence buff.
Nice.
So Hecate gets rewarded for doing that. So you kind of do a little, witches commune after a successful kill with each other, which is just a lot of flavor. It's really cool. It takes some practice to build that into your play style, your muscle memory of playing the goddess. You'll see prompts on the gods if they're viable to buff when you walk near them, and the interact is extremely forgiving as possible. All you have to do is hit the button in the area and not die or get interrupted. Right. So it doesn't matter if they go out of range. You can move the whole time. There's no self root. There's no range check on completion. You just have to engage the ritual, and then you will get it off.
It's done. Nice.
We're showing off some more of their animation. Shout out to the animation team, the rigging team, tech art team, because cloth.
That clothsome tech.
Cloth, right? I talked about it a lot in the blog post, but like when we were thinking about what we do different in Smite 2 that we couldn't do in Smite 1, we have true physics simulated cloth animation. Previously, we had to hand key animate every piece of cloth, and so adding excessive cloth was extremely, time consuming and potentially a performance nightmare, which, cloth simulation is still performance nightmare. But we've been working a lot on getting this. There's been a huge focus on the character throughout her entire development cycle, and it turned out really, really well. And it looks, super real and natural because it's using that physics simulation.
Yep. Shout outs to Clothsome. All right. Ability 1 is Triplicate form.
Yeah,
reworked ability here.
This was one of the reworked abilities. This was a theme that people really wanted to see more of. So Hecate is often thought and depicted as a triple goddess. So I wanted to highlight and show that in a unique way that played into her kit and her themes. So like these aren't just clones of her. These are not 3 entities that are all the same. Yeah. The impactful mythology behind this and theme behind this is that there's different roles that a goddess, a woman, go through their life, and they have different aspects of different traits. So Hecate has these 3 traits as well through her forms. So this ability is effectively a projectile that alternates between shooting the first form versus the second form. The first form applies a mark, and that mark will cause the character to take additional damage when they take any source of god damage. So this is a flat trigger per tick. So this combos super well with gods like fast ticking gods.
Kukulkan
Anubis, which, we'll get there, but Hecate also plays very well as a support or potentially a mid as well. So that's the first ability, or the first fire of the first ability. The other one, the purple one, is a mez. And you can see whenever she activates the ability, the other form that's not being cast is melding out of her and helping her fire the third form. So you get all three of them together in this cool triplicate attack where Hecate herself and her power form help her shoot her affliction form and vice versa. Really cool animation and visual trick that I think would have been a huge pain to set up in Smite 1. But this is some of the really cool tech we could do in Smite 2. Also, the first character with a Mez, I believe.
Yeah, this forced us to build the Mesmerize tech.
Yeah, so this was the first character to have Mesmerize tech. This really works well as a quick interrupt. And these projectiles also have a little bit of additional lifetime. They outro at the end. They do a little animation, and they can still hit people. So if you walk through that while they're doing that, you'll still get hurt, or you'll still get the effect applied to you. So they have a little bit of lingering on them. It has some cool edge cases with blocking people's paths away from them so they can't run right through it, especially if you can't double hit with it, so if you hit them with it, but you can kind of lead people with it and put it in cool places to block people. Gives them a little bit more of a true physical form to play with the themes. All right, ability 2, Pon. This was a joint effort between me and Pon over many months, so this is a really unique ability as well. Spell Eater. This ability places a large radius, and then you refire it to fire a smaller explosion. The large radius charges up in damage based on every ability activated in the area from any god on any team. So you can place it and charge it up yourself, and then you can see the area in the sky got a lot more powerful when it was fully charged, and the damage ramps up significantly. It can charge up 12 times to deal 2.2 times damage. But you also can skillfully charge this up really quickly by placing it in a smart place around a team fight.
That's true.
Everybody's fighting all gods on both teams. It starts charging up really rapidly, and then you can refire it for really big damage. It's a very unique way to charge up an ability, something we've never really quite done, and it effectively gives her a not quite ultimate level ability in her normal kit if you're willing to put in the effort to charge it.
Yeah, Pon's gonna show it off, but what's the range look like this, AJ?
Well, so the range is related to Hecate's aim related to her, but again, like we talked about in the passive, we didn't want to restrict the kit, so this has minimal restrictions. You can place that debuff charging area anywhere on the map, and you can leave it for as long as you want. There is no timeout. We don't force you to refire this when you don't want to, ever. So you can place it and let it charge and then come back to it, and then Hecate can only aim X units, in front of her with the refire, but it will fly from wherever it's charging all the way across the map to go do that damage in this larger arcing path, regardless of what you do. So a lot of really cool visual effects and tech here, really trying to play up that charge effect, and again, trying to avoid unnecessary restrictions. We've been removing a lot of those from Smite 1 Old Gods in the recent patches in Smite 1, so the Smite 2 design philosophy, trying to embrace that from day one, making abilities that are unique and powerful and have really specific and interesting play styles that they evoke. Okay, anything else I missed on that one, Pon?
Nope. I think the only other thing is that some of your abilities charge it quicker.
Well, we'll get into that in the next ability, Repel Magic. So this is actually the only one that charges it quicker.
Yeah.
Yep. So this ability is a lock-on ally targeter. So you can aim at yourself or any ally. When you fire it, it'll deal immediate damage around them, and then it'll put a spell shield on them. So you see that purple shield. The first time we've used this type of mechanic as well.
Cool.
So this is effectively a health shield. Works like any other health shield, except it only absorbs magical damage. Mm-hmm. So if you use this health shield and then walk up to on her, it's not going to do anything for you. When she does spell shield anyone, herself or any ally, she gets a movement speed buff, always. And if she activates spell shield in the area of the AO2, it will charge it for triple charges. Nice. So as Spell Eater is eating up spells, the spell shield is giving it an extra appetizer and dessert to go along with it. But yeah, really unique thing. We've never done this before. As far as the spell shield goes, it stacks with all other shields, and if you have a regular shield and a spell shield, you can see the blue and purple next to each other side by side on your health bar. And we have all shield stacking tech in Smite 2 that we don't have in Smite 1 that will take the most narrow priority shields or the shortest duration shields will get absorbed first to try to maximize your shield value. All that's happening automatically behind the scenes from the code we've set up for Smite 2. And yeah, this ability is just really cool in a way that stack on some bonus damage around, like if your if your tank or jungler dives in, you can get a bunch of bonus damage by hitting, snapping it onto them and hitting the enemy targets around them. It's just it really feels really good and satisfying to use, and it's like it's lock on too, but with some specific constraints about who's in the area, in a way that makes it, I think, feel really fair but still powerful.
Yeah, and this is definitely the one of the abilities that really showcases her, as she obviously can play like a mage and deal damage, but there's been people in our internal playtest who are like exclusively playing Hecate support, and it is,
and think she's like a better support than anything else.
And it is very effective with the 2 scaling and having high base damage when it scales, combined with the 3 being a very good counter, especially to a lot of magical characters, and synergizing with and the 1 giving that damage buff that can synergize with a lot of rapid tick characters. She can be a very potent support.
She's got access to a mez.
She essentially has medium int scaling across the kit, but she has a couple things like Pawn mentioned that do a decent amount of very good base damage, or synergize very well with even if you're not building int. So that's the AO1 and the 2, and then the 3 is explicitly very supporty feeling and giving someone a shield. So the character plays really well as like a utility int character, or a true support. And now we got to see the ultimate. Talking about utility int character, it's hard to top the utility that this baby gives you.
Open the gate.
Oh, you're gonna do the full combo. So, oh my gosh.
OP.
Okay, that was a lot, but let's look at what it is. Let's hit that one Ymir pawn with the ranged ultimate. So this summons these 2 big circles. There's a long warm up, a long warning area, and then a detonate at the end. When it detonates at the end, it takes any enemy gods that are hit, are stunned for a short duration, and then teleported to the other portal. So you can also, why don't you go ahead and banish this Ymir away from me, Pawn, just by himself. Don't hit the other ones. Yeah, just I want him out of here. Be gone.
Be gone.
Ooh. So you can use this ability as a way to peel for yourself, or you can use this ability as a way to put the entire enemy team out of position in some sort of catastrophic way.
Yeah.
That stun is there for the enemy for that's a window to cleanse. So you get stunned briefly before you get teleported. If you cleanse that, you will not get teleported. You have to stay stunned up until the time of the teleport to get teleported. So this does pretty moderate amount of damage, has that big area, has the teleport. But wait, there's one more feature, as I talked about in the IGN video. After you place this, it then leaves behind a interactable area that you can take and teleport. You could, so anyone on your team can do this. You can do it one time. Everyone can do it one time per fire of the ultimate, and they can go in either direction. So if someone's out of position, they can use it to take it back, or they can use it to get into the fight as well. So Hecate has a lot of themes with the crossroads, which we kind of and you also see in her theming about her torch and being placed in doorways, and this was used for kind of things like interdimensional travel, and part of her justification for being an underworld goddess, being able to travel to the underworld. So that's like we extrapolated a lot of those themes into this super awesome switcheroo teleport ult, which is something that the players have been asking for years. And the visual effects are just gorgeous on us.
The effects are insane.
So cool when people, if you like, there's a lot going on. So there's her triplicate form also help her. One of each form summons at each portal to help you cast it. If you look down, you see this infinite celestial void in the bottom. When you hit an enemy god, or when you take it, you dissolve. You can actually watch your materials and your model dissolve. And when you go through it, or anyone goes through it, the whole world turns otherworldly and spacey as you travel. You can see the whole skybox turn purple and the world get distorted. That was some of the world distortion we're using in her earlier kit. You now only see while you're actually teleporting here. So, okay, I gotta catch my
incredible.
breath, but, oh my god!
Shout out to the effects team.
We trying to make an ultimate that was worthy of Smite 2, and we really just pushed and pushed and pushed to get something crazy, and something really strong and powerful and unique and exciting. And I think this really fits this character super well.